It is so good to be here with Chief Steve Dalton of Branson West. Steve, it is so good to have you today, and I appreciate you accepting this invitation, and we appreciate you and everything you do for us here in the Branson West community as our Chief Law Enforcement Agent. You make us feel so much safer, so much better. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do.
Thank you all.
All right.
We appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Yes.
We certainly appreciate. I've told you, I will tell your audience, we appreciate your prayers. That's what keeps us all going. But to do a good job in a community, we have to have the prayers.
And I know that you believe in divine protection. You know that this area is divinely protected, and I appreciate everything that you've done and your prayers. And you're just an excellent police chief for us, and I was glad when you were able to come on the force here in Branson West. You've been such a blessing and a plus for us here in our area. But I have asked you to come to talk a little bit about what's going on with the new guidelines that the governor has put out, the stay-at-home order. And the first thing I want to ask you is how do you feel that the Branson West community has done with keeping the stay-at-home order that was put in place back in March?
You know, this community has just been amazing. There is a lot of the businesses that before the guidelines even came out were taking the steps to protect the people.
Yeah.
And it has just been incredible to watch how everyone has come together, realizing there is a need that we need to be doing, that we should have been doing for quite some time. But the businesses and people that has just absolutely taken it upon themselves to do the right thing.
Yes, yes. And I, the people that I've witnessed in the community, it seems like people are following the guidelines that have been set out, and it has kept our numbers so low here, and it almost feels like that we have pretty much, through God's divine providence, we have missed out on all these bad things that we hear from other communities.
Absolutely, and
yeah.
I do believe that without a doubt that there has been a lot of prayers.
Yeah.
Yes, God intends for us to use our heads, and I think that the people have done that. But I do know that this is a wonderful area where people do believe in divine healing and divine prayer and protection.
Yeah.
And I say that every day, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Lord, thank you for the things that we don't see you protecting us from.
Yeah.
And thank you for that hedge of protection that is here. Yeah. And I pray that over this city every day, because I'm just a figurehead, and I'm just really, I'm thrilled to death that we see what we've seen in this area, this community, in moving forward.
Yeah, good. And the guidelines, I know we're ready on May the 4th to start phase 1 of the reopen. Do you think that the guidelines that the governor has put out, do you feel comfortable with those on our next step moving forward?
Absolutely. I think the governor has done a fantastic job in listening to the experts and how we best fight this. And I think the steps that he has put out there for us to try to follow is very needed, and I believe that it will help. Again, I think there's still going to be some steps that we're going to have to go through and follow through with, and do a lot of praying. That's what's going to remove this quicker than a vaccine will.
That's right. Our prayers. God hears and answers the effectual fervent prayer of the righteous man avails much, and that's what we need to remember that. And now I want to ask this last question to you, and you are the person that is in the best position to answer this. Do you think that our community here in Branson West, that we are ready to open up?
Absolutely.
Good.
I believe with all my heart, again, follow the governor's guidelines. I believe, as the distancing, social distancing,
yes.
and, setting down by others, it's just not a good deal right now. You don't know. You
Yeah.
don't know who might have it. We're standing here talking right now, and you or I, either one could be a carrier, and we don't know. So it is something that we need to practice, and we need to listen to what the governor has set out. And I believe that this community has obviously done the right thing, and the statistics shows. And moving forward, I believe it's something we need to adhere to and practice, and we need to continue to practice this regardless of whether the COVID's around or not.
Right. Oh yeah, most certainly. And these are things we should have been doing anyway, and in a lot of areas. And so if you have a compromised immune system, you need to stay at home.
Absolutely.
Whether it's church or restaurants or whatever. But other than that, you need to practice good social distancing and be cautious at every case. And I know that this has been a trying time for a lot of people, but on the other hand, God's good, and
God
He sees
is
us
good.
through it.
He absolutely will. And Pastor, you and I were talking a little before. How many times have we heard, if you have a fever or if you don't feel well, stay at home.
Yes.
Don't take it out to everybody. Nobody else wants it. You
Right.
know? And if we just would practice that and take that to heart and turn it over to God.
Right.
We should not let this put fear in us, and
That's
that has been my biggest concern, is the fear that it has instilled because of a lot of the things that the media said.
Right.
They're talking about the negative, they're not talking about the positive. And that's what we hear. That's why I try real hard not to listen a lot to the news, because we know who has the good news.
That's right.
And we know where our answers lie, and fear is not from God.
Right.
I believe He tells us that 365 times.
Fear not.
In His Word, fear not.
Yeah.
So it should not be anything that we fear. Respect and understand, to be educated about it and do the right thing, absolutely. But fear is not from our God.
We shouldn't allow the panic to be worse than the pandemic.
Absolutely.
So, and I know that's what happens oftentimes. But God has been so good for us, and He has seen us through this time, and we appreciate very much, Chief Dalton, what you do for our community, how you help to keep us safe, and the whole staff and other police officers that you have. I would just say that of those that have stopped me have been very, very polite. I appreciate that very much.
I wouldn't expect anything less. And they better be.
I'm only joking. I haven't got pulled over today.
Today.
No. All right. Appreciate your service, and I appreciate you coming in on my invitation, and also for assuring our people on what's taking place here, that we have God on our side, and we're going to get through this without any problem at all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
God bless.
That's you.